So let's continue with the export and build tutorial for advanced conversational patterns such as follow-up intents. This part is going to be about follow-up intents, as I've mentioned, and here you'll see how you can export paths that are specific, responses, so follow-ups to specific questions. As you can see, I've designed some paths here. It's about a travel bot. Back when we could travel, and for the future when we can't travel. So here we have a simple, like, what can I help you today? I want to go to Paris. Are you traveling from Pristina? Yes or no. If yes, this is the response. If no, the bot asks where they'll be flying from, where the user will be flying from. So for example, I haven't marked this up with intents and variables yet because I just wanted to cover this again. So for example, in this path, we're just going to call this, just going to rename this start. And then I'm going to rename this intent follow-up yes. So we've set a rule in Botsociety during the export that if your intent name includes follow-up, we're gonna export it and treat it as a follow-up intent on Dialogflow. Dialogflow has ways of, adding that hierarchy inside their tool, but we created this so you're able to, do it all on Botsociety and not have to change anything once you're on Dialogflow. So as you can see, this is it. And then once we export, you'll see how the conversation continues since follow-up yes and follow-up no are follow-up intents of start. So here I'm going to mark up Paris as destination. And then this I'm just going to mark as departing. So, okay. And then Milan is another departing city. So here, both are the city variables. So I'm going to just choose the types that come already populated. So great. Okay, so that's it. So now we export to Dialogflow and let's see if it works correctly. So I made this travel bot follow-ups agent to test this out with you. And the first intent is start. And yeah, there's one device and we're exporting to Facebook Messenger. Awesome. So the export was successful. Let's head to Dialogflow. This is the agent that I've created, travel bot follow-up intents. So if I just refresh, the intents should be there. And as you can see, right now you can only see start, but there's this little arrow there, and what that does is it expands the intent to show you the hierarchy. So follow-up yes and follow-up no have been exported as follow-up intents on Dialogflow. Now, as I said, you can also do it on Dialogflow, but we've we've put this logic in when exporting so that you're able to see, you're able to just design on Botsociety, assign these intents on Botsociety, and then on Dialogflow, everything is done for you. So if we go into our intents, here, start is, so start is the first intent. It is a Facebook welcome intent. And yeah, training phrase is hi. So I can add hello. I can also add them back on, back on the design. And then you're able to just say that to the bot and it continues. So it's going to ask for the destination. Yeah, this could be a lot more complex, but I'm showing you kind of a simple example. Cool. So then we go to follow up yes. And you'll see that what's really important, again, is the context. So we need the context start here for follow-up yes. And then it'll be the same. It'll be the same for follow-up no. Yeah. So it's a context for this too, because depending on the response that the last message in the context, in the intent start gets, Dialogflow knows to either trigger follow-up yes or follow-up no. So let's try here. So I'm going to say hi, which is the training phrase. And then, okay, so it says, hello, I'm the travel bot. What can I help you with today? And I can say, I want to go to Paris. Yeah. Okay, so it's yeah. It says, okay, are you traveling from, this is basically the departing, and the departing variable. And if I say yes, it will trigger great, searching for flights from X place, departing to Paris. And then if I start over, let's see. So as you can see, it says default response instead of Facebook. To solve this, I mentioned it in the other video actually. To solve this, what you do is you can go to start. And yeah, so it should be this one here. Anyways, you can see that it's working. What can I help you with today? And okay. Want to fly to Paris. Okay, are you traveling from that place? If I say no, we trigger the follow-up no intent. And so now it says, okay, where will you be flying from? I had Milan, so I'm going to just write that. And now again, on Facebook, it says, okay, searching for flights from Milan to Paris. And so, which is the response. So that's how you're able to create and export follow-up intents from Botsociety to Dialogflow. This works both for Facebook Messenger and for Google Assistant. Since you're able to exactly select Facebook, for the other platforms, you would use the default here. Next up, I'm going to show you how you can also have fallback paths. So if the user says something that the bot doesn't understand, you can have personalized fallback paths. Finally, we're at the fallback paths and fallback intents and how to export those. So in this part of the video, we're going to discuss how to export fallback paths to Dialogflow for Facebook Messenger and Google Assistant. It works on Google Assistant as well. So as you can see, I'm on build mode now, but I have the same design that I did before, except that not only do I have the follow-up yes and follow-up no paths, I also have a follow-up fallback path, which is if the user doesn't say yes or no, and then there's a fallback within the follow-up no. So I'm just trying to show you how do you export these fallback paths for different scenarios. So this one is a dedicated fallback. And then we can have like a generic one in case the user doesn't say anything. So let me just add that. Just gonna add it here. And I'm gonna name this generic fallback. So, okay. We go back to 100%, edit, and here I'm just gonna say, I'm sorry, I didn't understand. I can help you with booking a flight. And then this will just get triggered anytime that the bot doesn't know what to say. So I want to export all of these, and as you can see, this is the dynamic. So it's the start path, and then we have follow up yes, follow up no, and follow up neither yes nor no. There's a fallback path, a fallback intent for the city, and then we have a generic fallback here. So if I go to build mode, let me zoom in. You can zoom in using holding Control or Command on Mac, and zooming in with your scroll bar. So here I've assigned intents to all of these. So this first path has the intent start. We have a simple, what can I help you with? I want to fly to X place. Are you traveling from Pristina? And yeah, so great. In fact, Pristina here doesn't need to be a variable because it's from the bot. So I'm just gonna remove that. And okay, so as I showed you, we have the follow-up yes, which is the same as last time. Follow-up yes, that's it. Here, I've assigned follow-up no intents, and then as you can see, it's follow-up city. And the reason for this is that I wanted to add a fallback path that's specific to this one, and Dialogflow does not allow fallback paths to be linked or to be in the middle of intent with parameter like interaction. So this one had to be divided into two. If this had parameters, then it would be longer in one intent, but this wouldn't be able to be related to it. And then I have the follow-up fallback. So if I want to have a fallback path, you might notice here, I need to use both follow-up and fallback in the name of the intent. So here, this one is just fallback follow-up, and then this one is more specific because it's follow-up fallback ask city. And here, this is for the generic, yeah. So instead of new path intent 0, I'm going to rename that to generic fallback. Oops. Oh, I guess it already exists because I had this before. So I'm just going to assign this. Yep. All right, so now that everything is marked up, I'm going to click on export, and I made this TravelBot fallback agent to show these examples. So let's see. Great. So the export was completed successfully. As you can see, there's something highlighted here, and there's it says there was an error. It's actually, there's warnings. So it just says empty training phrases for intent fallback follow-up, follow-up fallback ask city, and generic fallback. And this is expected. I was expecting that this would happen because Dialogflow expects that there is a training phrase for these messages, but because they're fallback paths, the training phrase is anything else that the user will say that's unexpected. So we can head to Dialogflow and check out how this is working over there. So I'm just going to switch tabs, and I already tried to export this, but if I refresh, it'll kind of write over everything that override everything that I had. And great. So here there's a generic fallback. In order for Dialogflow to accept my generic fallback, I had to delete the default fallback path that was already in the agent. So please note that. And then here in start, as we can see, similar to the follow-up example, if I open this, you'll see follow-up yes, follow-up no, and then fallback follow-up within this, and within follow-up no city, and follow-up fallback ask city. So kind of confusing, but remember, follow-up paths only need to have follow-up in the name, and fallback paths need to have both follow-up and fallback. And this is in our documentation. So it's listed, there's all the combinations of the words you can use. So to find our documentation, just so you see, you can click on how I solve this here, or if you remove this, click on documentation, you can also find it over here. So to continue, all the paths are there. What's really important is the context. So you can see a pattern here. It was really important for the follow-up intents, and it's just as important, if not more, for the fallbacks, because the bot needs to know, the bot needs to know where, when it gets triggered. So you can see the context here. So it says, for this one, it's the start, because this is the fallback of the start intent. And then this follow-up fallback ask city is the fallback of follow-up no city. And that's where the context is also shown. So it shows you even here, although we gave that error, that warning on Botsociety, fallback intent training phrases are negative examples. So the agent will not match to any other intent. And this means that anything that is not the training phrase for the the best case scenario that can happen, so the user says yes or no, the bot will just categorize as the negative example, and it will trigger the fallback intent. So to get started, I think the conversation started with hi. So yeah. Hi, I'm the travel bot. What can I help you with today? I want to fly to Paris. And here, let's switch to Facebook. Okay, great. So it says, okay, are you traveling from Pristina? And if I say yes, it'll say, great, searching for flights from Pristina to Paris. If I say no, okay, where will you be flying from? If I just write some gibberish that's not a city, we trigger the follow-up fallback ask city. So, I was expecting a city. Where are you traveling from? To show you where we are here, on Botsociety, we went from this path. I showed you this one first, and then I said no. Okay, where will you be flying from? I gave like a wrong answer, and then it triggered this message. This is where I'm at. So if I say Milan, it'll take us back here and to this message. So let's see. Okay, searching for flights from Milan to Paris. So that's done. And so I can also start from the beginning, and instead of saying, hey, I can just try something else. Great. So it says, I'm sorry, I didn't understand. I can help you with booking a flight, which is our generic fallback intent. And now if I say hi, and it says, hi, I'm the travel bot. What can I help you with today? And I say I want to go to Paris. And it asks me if I'm here. It asks me, are you traveling from Pristina? And I say gibberish. It will say, sorry, I was expecting a yes/no answer. Can you try again? So now we've gone through all the scenarios that I've built in this design. And you were able to see how all these different paths get exported, and all the intents, so both follow-up and fallback intents. Feel free to reach out to us if you want to learn more and if you want to explore more advanced conversational patterns and how they can be exported from Botsociety. Thank you and have a great day.